WhatCulture? My name is Simon Miller, and you have indeed. I mean, you tune into Ups and Downs. You're like, this isn't Raw, this isn't SmackDown, this isn't a pay-per-view. No, it's not, because we're taking the Ups and Downs concept and we're manipulating it, we're changing it to fit other themes, and that's what life is all about. You've got to progress, you've got to evolve, you've got to revolve. Well, don't revolve, that's this. That's revolving. That's doing that. I know that screwed the camera up and now it's gone all crazy in their shadows. We're not rolling, we're just gonna have some fun. But given that Edge made his kind of triumphant return to WWE for SmackDown 1000, I mean, he's gonna go away again now, he's not a wrestler anymore, I thought it would be fun to go through the Rated-R Superstar's career and give the good bits an up and give the bad bits a down. So that is exactly what we're gonna do. Let's up those downs. There's so many good things we could throw at Edge, and he absolutely deserves them all. However, if we're going to look at it from a timelines perspective and start early on, we got to talk about how he walked into the tag team division and kicked its ass. Get it up. I even liked him when he was in the Brood, mostly because of that entrance, which was damn cool, but it wasn't until he left Gangrel and started teaming with Christian that all of a sudden everything blew up. And if you don't believe me, just go and watch anything he did from 1999 to 2001. Revolutionizing tag team wrestling along with the Hardy Boys and the Dudley Boys, a new era of high-risk matches not only set the standard for years to come, but also had fans positively drooling to see more and more of this crazy new stunt show we'd invented. Ladder matches, TLCs, table contests, they did it all and turned themselves into bona fide superstars in the process, and that's what wrestling is all about. You find something, you latch onto it, you make it work, and all of a sudden, everybody's chanting your name. Edge, come on Edge, we want Edge. And Edge was a serious part of this, hence why he deserves a thumbs up, which he just got. And also, think about the sheer hell he put his body through during this time, or during his career. He must have woken up every day in a hell of a lot of pain. Now, obviously, we're going to move into the downs, and let me preface this by saying Edge is clearly a Hall of Famer, both figuratively and literally. He is actually in the Hall of Fame. That didn't mean that everything he did turned to gold though, even though a lot of his sad stuff was down to how he was booked. But even with that said, all that stuff with the King of the Ring, getting it down. The weird thing is, Edge even said that he wouldn't Billy Gunn his victory in 2001, because, you know, Billy Gunn had won it a couple of years prior, and absolutely nothing changed. But he was wrong, because it didn't really help him out at all. The plan was simple. He beats Rhino and Kurt Angle in the same night, becomes King of the Ring, celebrates, goes crazy. Mum says, oh, well done, Edge, you did it. Then he feuds with Christian, beats his former best friend, and then the doorway would be open to move into the main event scene. Unfortunately, only 2 months after this, he was feuding with Lance Storm over the Intercontinental title. And there's nothing wrong with that either, and Lance Storm is vastly underrated anyway. And hey, a championship win is a championship win. But when that wasn't the idea, and the fact you just won the King of the Ring, and again, you're kind of just treading water, something gone wrong. The Rated-R Superstar then got hit with all the nonsense that was the invasion angle, and excuse me while I throw up in my mouth, meaning by the time we'd forgotten about this pay-per-view, it had meant absolutely nothing. Damn you, Billy Gunn. And damn you for the legacy you left for everyone. Back to the ups though, because never forget Edge was part of the SmackDown 6 up. We could just end it there, but in case you don't know, when Paul Heyman took up the reins of the Blue Brand in 2002, he had a simple plan. He was going to build it around a select few guys and make sure that it kicked ass every single week. And that's what he did with Rey Mysterio, Kurt Angle, Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, Chavo Guerrero, and of course, Edge. And there were some other guys as well, but you know, we called it the SmackDown 6. So now I only can talk about 6 of them. Having the best matches and being involved in the best angles, the bar just seemed to be raised every time these guys were in the ring. And throughout it all, Edge even managed to re-find his prowess, his skill for tag team wrestling, and he won those damn titles alongside Rey Mysterio. The real glory here, mind, is that throughout it all, Edge was proving to management and those backstage that yes, he could be a main event guy, and that's kind of the story of Edge's career. And it meant even when this illustrious period in SmackDown history had come to an end, everybody still had their eye on Edge. And I don't mean that literally, that'd be weird. Imagine one day you woke up and someone said they were going to have their eye on you, and they had their face in your face with their eye touching your skin. That's freaky. Touch your eye right now. Don't do it. There's bad stuff happened. The eye juice is weird. All of this was made possible because, as Edge himself said, he was the ultimate opportunist, but that also bit him on the ass from time to time, especially when it came to sponsorship deals. That's right, we do have to talk about his WrestleMania feud against Booker T, where the two were mad at each other because they both wanted to represent a shampoo brand. You think about it, what could I give this? Oh, that's right, down. One of those moments where you don't want to tell your loved ones that you watch wrestling. Again, this wasn't really his fault. If Vinnie Mac comes up to you and says, look man, here's what you're going to do this evening, you just have to shrug your shoulders and go, okay, but it doubly sucked for Edge because this was his first ever singles WrestleMania match, and it was over a hair product. I mean, I guess at least he won, which probably would have pleased the company in question because Edge had luscious locks. Imagine I'd won the match. Imagine I was in the match and I won a hair shampoo contract. They'd be like, oh man, not that guy. He's a bald moron. Time-wise, it was far from ideal as well because it only went 6 minutes. But I guess if we do look at it in hindsight, it didn't affect Booker T in the long run and it certainly didn't affect Edge. So I guess we can just forget about it. And that is easy to do when we wind the clock forward a few months. Remember that at Judgment Day and Backlash, Edge had terrific matches with the boy known as Kurt Angle. Honestly, like looking into a crystal ball and seeing what professional wrestling was going to be in the future, these were glorious up. We also had some fun here because this was the program where we had the infamous hair versus hair match. Angle got his head shaved and has donned that look ever since. But throughout, it also served as a point for everyone to go, wait, Edge is having yet more good matches with all our top guys. Maybe we should think about pushing him a little bit. Maybe most importantly, fans accepted Edge as Angle's equal here, and that opened the door we were talking about earlier. It showed that the time was right for him to make this leap, and there's nothing wrong with that. Also, from a 2018 perspective, if you go back and watch these Edge versus Kurt Angle matches, they still hold up. That is a sign of quality. This down just sucks, and in fact it sucks so much, it is indeed going to get the brown down. But I think it's fair to say that the one issue that did keep plaguing Edge throughout his career were injuries, including one that meant he had to say goodbye to pro wrestling altogether. Big down. As well as retiring as world champion after WrestleMania 27, where he had defeated Alberto Del Rio. And don't forget, that was so bad a doctor told him, look Edge, I don't think he called him Edge, I'm sure he called him Adam, but you'd take my point. If you go out there and even take one more bump, you could die, which is just crazy. He also had other such struggles, like back in 2009, where he was meant to be teaming with Chris Jericho. The idea on paper was gold. We were going to take these two Canadians and push them together, but Edge unfortunately tore his Achilles, and that kept him out for the rest of the year. Now, his return at the Royal Rumble was great, but who knows what this could have been. Had he been able to stay healthy, his career may have been even more glowing, but that is just how pro wrestling works. And don't I just know it? Marshmallows. Let's go back to the happy times though, because do you know when Edge was at his best? When he was a piece of shit heel. Up. This started in 2004 when WWE went all in on his turn, and it's really where he started to gather the most momentum and became, or at least embodied, this idea of the ultimate opportunist. It wasn't just these cool gimmicks that helped though, it was that mad maniacal grin he had on his face, or he'd cut a promo after trying to murder someone and profess his innocence, and when he got in the ring, he was more than worthy of whoever he was facing. He was one of the best characters on either Raw or SmackDown for a long time, and sometimes he could do it with just his eyes, because you looked into his eyes and he looked absolutely nuts. He also got actual heat from the crowd who utterly despised him, and in the modern era, that is always a plus. Too many times we have a wrestler and what the company wants, but the fans are against that, so you have this back and forth with cheer and boos. Not with Edge. Everybody thought he was a pile of crap. Which brings us to one final up, and it's a golden one as well, because this is indeed my favourite thing about Edge, and of course it's Money in the Bank up. As well as winning the first ever briefcase, his cash-in at New Year's Revolution 2006 against John Cena was completely unexpected, and it sparked a feud between those two, which was great as well. This was also the year that Edge had that amazing match with Mick Foley at WrestleMania 22, so all in all, it was just a badass 12 months for the Rated-R superstar, especially because he also had that segment on Raw with Lita. You know what I'm talking about, and to this day, that is some strange stuff. The fact he went and did it all again a year later by surprise cashing on The Undertaker was just the icing on the cake. And again, I've said it twice, I'll say it thrice, where all of a sudden, this idea of the ultimate opportunist started to make sense. Much like he said on SmackDown 1000 recently, he didn't care about friends, he didn't care about relationships unless they could progress his career. He just wanted accolades, he wanted titles, and he wanted success. Boy howdy did he make it happen, and as I stand here today, Edge is one of the best damn wrestlers we can talk about. Isn't that nice? Isn't that a wonderful thing to be able to say? I think it is. So Edge, if you ever do see this, you probably won't. Well done to you. You kicked ass. You lived all your dreams. I'm proud of you. The guy you don't know who lives here in England, we've never met, but I'm proud. Now, don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know what you think about Edge's career. Like, share and subscribe. Head over to WhatCulture.com and read yourself some articles, and follow WhatCulture on Twitter at WhatCulture WWE. My name is Simon from WhatCulture. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon. We'll up some downs, we'll do some whys, we'll do some lists, because that's what we do.